Welcome back to Vision Pros. Today's going to be interesting. I can tell you that already. We've got Chris from the Pacific Northwest. We've already had a good time chatting. Chris, would you please introduce yourself and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Chris Majer, founder of the Human Potential Project. Glad to be here. Let's see what we can do that is of interest to your audience.
I think this will be pretty cool. Let's just start with this one. What is your vision?
My vision is pretty simple. We're about revolutionizing the practice of leadership and management in the world.
That's it, huh? Just that.
It's humble, And then next, we conquer the universe.
Conquer that makes sense, as one does, right? So who do you serve and what problem are you helping them solve?
Oh, here we go now. We serve pretty much anybody in business who has that lingering sense that there's got to be more to this. This cube slave is not what I set out to do. Even if I'm in an executive suite, this isn't fulfilling. It's not working. We're just going bump every single place. And what we've developed is a series of practices and methodologies that basically reframes the whole thing. And what is basically the root cause, what we're really fighting against is, how do I explain this? What we think of as modern leadership and management practices were all invented by guys who were born in the 1800s.
Yeah.
They were originally designed to be effective for Henry Ford and his peers early in the last century, right? And that's what we think of as modern management. Right? Now, the problem is, in those days, the problem they were trying to solve was, how do we take uneducated, unsophisticated, unskilled day laborers and farm workers and turn them into productive factory workers? The answer they came up with was simple: de-skill the work. So you may have been a great craftsman and you made beautiful wood panels for horse-drawn carriages. Yeah, here you're going to put 5 bolts on a Model T wheel all day, every day. If you don't want to do that, no problem, because we got a zillion people who'd love to have your job, because in those days there was no social safety net. Right? So management was about supervision. It was avoiding surprises. It was all about control, predictability. And we developed a set of financial measurements that only could keep track of input, output, throughput.
Wow.
And flash forward 100 and some years, the value generators in today's economy are not factory workers. And I don't mean that to demean factory workers. It's just That's not a big segment of our economy anymore. The value generators are what we've come to call coordination workers. Okay, they don't make things, but they generate value out of their effective coordination with each other to produce customer satisfaction, whether that customer is internal or external. Now, the implications of that are staggering, because unlike their grandparents, this workforce is educated, sophisticated, agile, skilled, and mobile, which is a thing that they didn't have to deal with. And they don't respond well to antiquated management practices. And that's part of the root problem that we've got in business today. We're still trying to manage coordination era workers with industrial era practices.
Wow. In 2 minutes, you have pointed out that answers a lot of questions for what's not working. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Hey, that's what I get the big bucks for,
I love that. I'm so glad that you're on the job fixing this.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it.
Somebody needs to fix this.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, where did this vision come from?
Oh boy, now you did it. Well, believe it or not, when I was in college at the University of Washington, I did a master's degree there. I was captain of the rugby team my senior year. And I went on to play first division team for another 8 or 9 years. And every year, you're going to start wondering quickly, what has this got to do with my question? Every year there was this national invitational tournament down in Monterey, California. We were a top tier team, so we always got invited. So this was a big spring ritual. We'd get out of the dreariness of Seattle, go down to Monterey, and they played this weekend tournament on the polo grounds of the 17-mile drive. Yeah, it doesn't get any more posh than that.
Really?
So we're on our way, get to the airport to go to the tournament. And I went, oh, crap. The book that I was reading, I left on my bedside table. I don't have anything to do on the airplane. I'm not the kind of guy who can stare out the window for 2 or 3 hours or read the in-flight magazine 10 times. So I went to college. Let's go to the bookstore and get a new book. All right. So you've been to the airport bookstore. There's the mysteries and the thrillers and the histories and the bodice rippers and all this kind of stuff. And then up in the back corner, this is going to sound strange, but I had a mystical experience in the airport bookstore, which is, not the spot you normally think of to do that.
Typically, no.
Yeah. So this book literally starts talking to me like I can hear it in my head. And at first I'm like looking around like, what's going on here? Now bear in mind, this is like 1980. So it's not like there was somebody playing an audio book or something.
Right.
And not shockingly, it was insisting that I buy it, which I did. And it was appropriately titled The Ultimate Athlete by a guy named George Leonard, who I'd never heard of. But given what I was up to, I thought, well, perfect. I'll pick up something that maybe I can use this weekend. I get on the plane, I start reading it. And next thing I know, we've landed and I'm not quite done with the book. And I'm sitting there going, holy moly, this guy's talking about all sorts of stuff that I have no idea what he's talking about. Intentionality and synchronicity and this crazy Japanese energy called ki and some martial art called aikido and all this kind of stuff. And I was left with, I don't know, I don't understand all this, but I like it. All right. It resonated with me.
Yeah.
So flash forward a year or so, I retired from playing rugby, took up the study of aikido, met a guy who was a sports psychologist. Now, he was fascinating because he had sciencey sounding explanations for experiences that I had and written off as too many bangs on the head or flashbacks. And we just got to be buddies. And he'd been a world-class skier. I was, he was an individual performer. I was a team performer. We had this great idea. We started a company, and our original mission was to work exclusively with athletes and push the boundaries of performance. Mm-hmm. And we were going to work on a 3-part model: mind, body, spirit. Everything was great. We did a tremendous amount of work. We were doing with all kinds of performers. We had one little problem, which was it's now 82 or so. And this was before Nike and Adidas and everybody exists the way they do today. So all of our clients were doing great stuff, but they were all broke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, doing great work, not getting paid. Flaw in the business plan. So we turned our attention to teams. We saw the same thing everybody's seeing. You could take a group of individuals. Those individuals were great, put them on the team would stink. Well, that doesn't make any sense, but it happens so often, and not just in sports. So we built out a whole body of work. We coined the phrase team cohesion, and we worked with national teams, Olympic teams, da-da-da-da-da-da. Totally out of left field, that work caught the attention of the Army. And I found myself at scenic Fort Hood, Texas, talking to a room full of colonels about how to solve some of the problems they had. And 6 weeks later, I got a sole source contract with the United States Army.
That is amazing.
Didn't see that coming.
No.
We spent, almost 3 years working exclusively with the Army. We worked through divisions, and that culminated in a year-long classified project with the Special Forces. We had a programmatic blank check to push the boundaries of human performance. 24 hours a day, we had 2 A teams under our operational control. At the end of that, I said, okay, we've had an opportunity to do some extraordinary work in 2 arenas where performance matters and where you can measure it, athletes and soldiers. Doing the work with soldiers was the best stuff we ever did. They were fantastic to work with. The process of getting to do the work with them, the Army's contracting process, not so much.
Yeah.
And I was young and a little naive, but I was like, I really don't want to hire 3 or 4 people just to do contract compliance. This just seems like too much BS to me. So we're going to turn our attention to a different game called business. And here, this is going to be an even bigger challenge than what we've been doing. And my guys all looked at me like I was nuts. I said, I don't mean physically, more challenging, you morons. It's like, in business, there's no timeout, there's no spring training, there's no stand down. By our standards, they don't even do any real training. And on any given team, there's a vast gap in the level of competence and commitment on the part of the players. How do we work in that arena? So we built a little corporate program. I needed somebody to test it on. We had an early investor and his partner owned a little manufacturing company in Shelton, Washington. Shelton, Washington is on the west side of Puget Sound, You cannot get any farther away from the corporate American mainstream than Shelton, Washington. You go another 50 miles west and you're in the Pacific Ocean, and most of that's a mountain range between. Okay, so that's it. We're in the obscure outpost of corporate America. We rocked that thing. We exceeded everyone's expectations. My second client was AT&T.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Providence was looking out for us in those. So I went from Obscuria to Center Ring and the circus. We went from 5 people in a little cubby hole to 85 people in 6 months. And as I tell everybody, I made every stupid mistake you could make in terms of trying to grow business. And it succeeded oftentimes despite my best efforts, right? So this is a long rambling explanation. We took a division of AT&T. It's a long story, which we don't have time for now, but fascinating. We took a division of AT&T. We put, I think it was like 4,000 managers through this week-long program. We were running 3 of these at different locations around the country a week. As a logistical wonderment. They went from break-even to generating a cumulative total of $3 billion in profit over the course of 48 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So then we had a whole bunch of what we call Harry Met Sally moments, right? This division, I'll have what they're having. No. And, it was extraordinary. And we distilled a whole bunch of stuff out of there, right? So one of which is we've been sold a bill of goods about learning. So one of the things I'm passionate about is we society have been done no service by the current common sense about learning. And that's really my passion. Is you've got to teach people how to do these new things. So if I say learning, most people think that it's the acquisition of new theories, models, beliefs, ideas, all for the sake of gaining understanding. Because understanding is the holy grail. And I say, well, that might be true in school, but not out here in the world of performance. We learned early on with our athletes, they're not stupid. They could understand a lot. That didn't mean they could do any of it. Right? That was the thing. So we came to see that this is where everybody gets their eggs scrambled here. Is that while your mind understands, and understanding can in fact occur in an instant, in the end, it's your body that learns. Your mind understands, but it's your body that learns. And your body only learns one way, and that's through practice.
Yeah.
Clearly, you hit the key point there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No amount of understanding ever produced competence. Our product is what we call embodied competence. Embodied means you can take the action without having to stop, think about it, look it up in some book. And competence is simply the capacity to consistently produce the desired result. Yeah. So again, no amount of awareness ever produced or understanding ever produced competence. Only practice does. And practice takes time.
Yeah.
And that's why, people listen, well, what was that program that you put these people through? I said, well, our flagship program back in the glory days, COVID kind of killed much of this, didn't last for a couple days. It extended over 9 months.
Oh my.
And we completely changed the practices in an organization. And the financial results were so extraordinary. Despite my having video testimony from executives, people don't believe me when I tell them, Allianz Life, the CEO was questioned by some activist shareholder. Why did you spend $10 million on this human potential project? Well, yeah, we spent $10 million on that. And no, it's not a bunch of touchy-feely BS. We spent $10 million and documented a $650 million return. Any more questions?
Wow.
So that's the world that I live in, right? So
wow.
It's an interesting dilemma because we find a lot of people aren't ready for that. They're quite happy for just can I just have a French fry? I don't need the whole meal.
Right. Oh my goodness, that is wow. Really remarkable results. Like almost, I can see where people are like, "What?
I know.
Did he stutter?"
I got a million of them. Yeah. But that's what happens when you actually can take a comprehensive, holistic view and have a whole new methodology and interpretation.
Oh, sure. I can
So
see where your whole background, starting in sports, like
yeah,
that's exactly where you learned this thing. You could learn about rugby all day long and not be
yeah,
able to do
not
anything
be
until
able
your
to do
body
any of
learns
it.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, at least in rugby, it's a polycentric game. You have to adapt. You have to adjust. It's constantly changing and flows. There's no timeout.
Right.
We don't take 10 minutes between each play like they do in football, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Not that I have a bias or
No,
anything, but
that's just incredible. All right, really, can you tell me, like, what's your why? You've been at this a long time. You've had amazing results. You could frankly be out there playing golf. We've already talked about how golf is not an option, but what's
yeah.
driving you now?
Some years ago, I had a conversation with myself because, everybody's like, well, you need to find your purpose. And I said, no, you need to find your car keys. All right. You don't find your purpose. And I wrote a big paper about being a stand in the world, not taking a stand, but being a stand, two different things.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I had to look at myself and go, well, Mr. Smart Guy, that's great for everybody else. What's yours?
Oh,
Oh, I hate it when they do that. How dare you use my own stuff on me? And I followed my own process and distilled it down to I am a stand for the full and free expression of the human spirit. And when I see people suffering, languishing in kind of modern indentured servitude, which is what too many organizations have become,
yeah.
I can't stand it. Because I know I can do something about it. Most people
Yeah.
can't. I can do something about it.
Wow. I love
So,
this. Chris, I hope you're going to come back many, many times. I have so much I want to know. This is fantastic. Wow. All right. Let's do that. We're going to
there
have to
you go.
schedule that for sure. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Hope it was useful.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.